What's up, guys? Welcome to the first episode at home of Never Offside with Julie and Kat. We filmed our first episode in New York City last week and with Gary Bettman, so give that a listen if you haven't yet. It was pretty fun. Julie, what'd you think?
I loved it. Garzy was so easy to talk to. I feel like we could have gone on for so much longer. But it was just interesting to get his perspective on a whole lot of things and just get to sit down with the boss.
Yeah, it seemed like the two of you could have chatted for hours, which was fun to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, first, just in terms of this opportunity that we've been given, we're so excited about this. You know, it's such a cool platform, but honestly, I can't start the excitement without talking about what's going on in LA. Obviously, LA is home to Tyler and I. I went to USC. I worked for the Dodgers for 10 plus years, and obviously the biggest part of Ty's career is in LA, was as an LA King. So it's been obviously devastating to see what's been going on with all of our friends and the whole community. And, you know, the LA Kings org means so much to Tyler and I. And they always step up, and they stepped up. So I just kind of wanted to use this platform to, you know, spotlight what's going on with them. They're doing daily fire relief donations at Toyota Sports Center from 10 to 6. So they're collecting everything there and distributing, and there's a lot of big things that are going to come up with them. But in the meantime, I asked them how we can help them, and they said to go to lakings.com/fire relief. So everything that they're working on is right there, and you know, hopefully we can spread the word there. Also, I asked the Sharks what is in the works with them, because here in San Jose we're so close yet feeling so far away right now, obviously. And next week, when the guys come back from this long road trip, they're going to do a first responders appreciation night on the 23rd. And there's going to be a lot of stuff, everything from the 50-50 raffle to just collecting donations. I'm going to be out there helping. So yeah, honestly, like I said, hopefully with this platform, we can raise some sort of, you know, help, because we're all feeling a little helpless right now. And
Yeah.
you know, we love LA. I love LA. It's home. And, you know, so hopefully with this platform, Julie, and this opportunity that we've been given, at least we can spread some good vibes.
Yeah. It's really, I think the whole last week, it's really consumed us. You know, we're on top of the world in New York, about to launch this podcast that we've been working on for months before. And then, you know, stuff starts to happen out in California, and Kat being so close to you, so close to home, literally and figuratively. It was just a wild way to process, like being here and then being brought down so quickly, and just watching the devastation and just it was consuming this whole week. And I know from being, you know, over here in Michigan and not being physically there, it's overwhelming with seeing in which ways to help, and you're kind of like, what's legitimate and what's not. And to see the hockey world step up and LA Kings really, you know, narrow it down and bring it to this just very tangible, easy way to give back in this moment, I think is super helpful, and has been a really big asset for our whole hockey world, because we are one big hockey family. I think you can take that from our last episode with Gary, like family comes first, and it really is. Like the hockey family is like no other, and whether you know somebody there, we all know a player in LA, but like we all have somebody or something connected out there. So shout out to the LA Kings for really spearheading like the kind of NHL initiative, because I know every team's looking to them as like the guiding light.
And they are so good at this. Honestly, everyone from that org is just they care so much, and a lot of people that work, obviously a lot of my coworkers were affected. A lot of, their coworkers were affected, and they're still doing as much as possible. So it's
amongst the devastation, it has been a really beautiful thing to see everybody come together in such turmoil and lift people up when they need it the most. And I love seeing the hockey community do what they always do. They step up in these times, and if we can magnify that in any way, I'm grateful we have the platform to do that now too here.
Yeah, I was going to say that's pretty much the basis of this podcast. It's like behind the scenes, it's family, it's it's just hopefully, like I said, spreading some good lights, spreading some good vibes, and just being here for each other. So
definitely.
So yeah, our first guest at home in terms of hockey family, she is a big deal in your life.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
The only guest that made sense for us, right, to bring on as our first, I think we call it episode 2, but we're kind of calling it 1B because it's like our first at-home, in-home studio episode. So Angela Price, she's one of my dearest friends that I've made in Montreal, become business partner. We had all of our babies kind of staggered together. We've sister wived it together when our husbands are on the road. She's just an incredible person, and I'm excited that we get to talk to her later and kind of share some insights into her life.
Yep. So rolling back to New York, so we went to New York last week. We had kind of the basis of us going to New York, honestly, was we kind of were like, let's get there. We haven't seen each other since 2022 in person, since Tyler got traded to Calgary from Montreal. That was literally the last time we saw each other in person, which we had to remind ourselves of because it doesn't feel like that. But we were like, let's go to New York, let's get in studio, and let's, maybe film some content, kind of figure what this is all about. And then we decided maybe we'll also get a guest on, and
we got him. We got the guest that, maybe, who knows, like everybody's laughing that we're interviewing or chatting with Gary Bettman. But I think we nailed it. And
I do too.
We kind of got all the wiggles out. Like hosting a podcast we've never done it before. So I think it was cool, but it felt different.
It felt like a blur. Like we both said afterwards, we obviously went out for drinks after, and we were like, what was that? I don't know what happened. So it didn't feel like a podcast, right? It felt like you and I were just kind of like
big production.
And
it was great, but it was like, okay, let's get in the comfort of our own homes. And
it kind of felt like we were playing dress up or something. So now this podcast now feels very real when we set up our in-home studios. So now, which I just hit my mic. But that's when we
got to get our bearings.
That's when it felt real, I guess. And so now we're excited. Thanks, Bob, for helping us. Our producer,
Bob.
Like I said, he's helping us right now.
We had a great time in New York, though. We got our work done at the NHL headquarters, and then we treated ourselves to the most lovely 60-minute reflexology foot massage in who knows what side of town it was.
It was a part of Soho, but the funny thing is you and I, we love our wine, but then we love our wellness. Like we're very balanced.
We're very balanced. All right, so we have Angela Price coming up next. We're going to talk to her all things Montreal, what it's like having Carrie home full-time now, and we're going to talk to her about how she's balancing her business, her children, and all the things in between. Here she is, the one and only mother of 3. She's my business partner. She's married to one of the greatest goalies of all time. She's a philanthropist. She's the ultimate optimist. She's a wannabe wellness expert, and she's one of my best friends, Angela Price. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited for your guys' podcast. The first one was so good. I'm so honored to be your next guest. And I sent a message to Kat. I knew Julie, I know you well. I know you can talk to anybody. But I was like, oh, I wonder how Kat's going to be. And I thought you nailed it. You're like made for this. So I'm so excited for you girls.
Well, it's funny. We had a little meeting about guests and who made sense for this first one. And obviously, we all have this connection. So it made sense to have you on, especially with your... Yep. I love the shirt.
I love that you pulled that out. I was on the phone with you earlier, and I was like, is that the shirt? But
You know what's funny is that this has just been hanging in my closet since that playoff run. It's not even in a box packed away. It's just hanging in my closet. So I pulled it out.
So yeah, we should probably explain like the shirt.
What that shirt is.
Yeah, that shirt is
Gosh,
it's kind of the epitome of our whole
Montreal
relationship.
playoff
And connection. But the three of us, it was 20. I'm getting all my years mixed up.
I had to remind myself. It's 2021.
2021, yeah.
Yeah, it took a little bit of reminding because we all...
So
So
yes.
we unexpectedly went into this huge playoff run, coming back from down 3-0, I think, against Toronto, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we didn't have any playoff gear planned.
Yeah, and it was
And nor
during
should you
COVID
really...
times too. So it was like we didn't know who to talk to, get stuff done. So
Well, also planning playoff gear is like a little risky business too because you don't want to obviously jinx yourself.
Yeah, jinxing involved. So we did a lot of makeshift gear, and that shirt. It's a hot commodity, man. If there's extras laying around, I'm sure we could auction them off for some
You
big
guys
money.
just posting on Instagram yesterday, my DMs are flooded with how do you get this shirt? And we couldn't sell it because we did like alter the logo, so the team wouldn't let us sell it. But you had to be a wife in 2021 to get it.
I will say that was the luckiest shirt we had. Like that shirt actually, every time we wore that, it would most likely end up in a win, whereas some of our other stuff that we make shift did not.
Like the fact that you can even still wear that shirt. Like I feel like mine is like pitted out, stained, and
Mine's like a different color.
also
It's definitely not line change quality, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely not line change quality. This brings me to a question. Ange, what do you think? I mean, you played for the same team for the whole time. Kat has been on
18.
A handful of teams.
Yeah.
Is it kosher or a fashion faux pas for a wife to wear previous team's gear while their husband is still playing?
I think so.
It's a faux pas.
I think so. Kat, do you do it?
Damn. Because then I'm
Kat is rocking. I mean, we love it, and you'll love it because she's rocking line change all the time. But it's like for the Jets, for New Jersey.
See,
for
I
Montreal.
do that now, but now that my husband isn't playing, I feel like it's better. For you, I feel like it's.
So
you probably shouldn't be doing that.
To bring it back, maybe I'll tell you some of my favorite pieces of line change that I wear daily as my faux pas. But I loved the Montreal red crew neck that you guys did. That was a classic. That's still hanging.
Also a very lucky piece throughout the run.
Also a lucky piece, and that is currently hanging in my closet. Also, both crop tops in Montreal, the black one and the gray one. Those are, staples in my everyday life.
Literally every call, she's wearing one.
I'm not wearing one today. Sorry, guys. I thought that would be really weird of me.
I take it back. It's not okay unless it's line change. Then it's fine.
Yeah, all right. Well, the other funny one that I love is one from the Jets, the graphic tee you guys sent me when Ty got traded to Winnipeg.
Oh yeah.
That I wear all the time, and
I have that one in my closet as well. I snagged that one. I love that one.
That one is great. And Ty, he's always like, "Okay, Kat, like."
So,
literally.
Ange, do you wear other team line change gear? This is news to me.
Not out in the wild. I will like that Jet shirt is like a pajama shirt.
That's a going out shirt for me. So. I very much enjoy that.
But our stuff is so good that it's hard not to want to wear it.
So, okay, honestly, as not part of Line Change, just a fan, obviously some people are new here in hearing about how it started. So can you guys just give like a quick how it started and where it is today?
Absolutely. Ange, take it away.
So if Julie does it, we'll be here for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We don't want to take it. We got some good questions, so we don't want to take that up.
So I'll go quick. The Canadians came to us wanting to increase their sales for women's apparel. And at that time, the Pink It and Shrink It was all the women's offerings at the team stores. It was awful. So me and Julie designed 4 pieces. It went so well. That built and built and built in Montreal, and we soon had like this huge collection, men, women, children, and it sold out every time. It was such a huge success. And all the wives across the league was seeing that and is coming to us asking if we could do it for their team. We didn't necessarily couldn't do it because of licensing and all that. But me and Julie kept saying, should we do this? Should we like take this league wide, make it a business? And then one day we were like, F it, we're doing it. And we did. And then COVID hit. And at the time, that seemed like it was going to be the nail in our coffin, but it actually worked out perfectly for us. And I think we got to where we were because of COVID. So now we have a women's / unisex, some children's items that we sell in I don't even know how many different leagues, mainly NHL, but we're in other leagues. And yeah, I don't know. Did that sum it up, I think?
Yeah, that sums it up. So we became business partners for life.
5 years ago, I think. Well, 2019 is when we officially started Line Change.
Oh wow! So it was quite new during that Stanley Cup run when you guys were slaying out all these shirts and stuff for us. So
yeah, that's kind of right after that is when we like took it league wide.
That's amazing, and honestly, it's selfishly great to be your friends. So thank you.
And I love that you keep going to new teams because then we get to keep sending you stuff. But now we are, I guess we could tease that this would be a perfect tease that actually San Jose just picked up Line Change, and some new gear will be dropping this spring, Miss Toffoli. So.
Very excited because I was going to ask for one of those California hockey hoodies too. So,
well, you should have that too, regardless.
Yeah, regardless.
We should send you a bunch and you can just hand it out to your friends.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We could actually just send her the whole league's collection, and then Kat would have a whole wardrobe. So,
well, and they'll all hang in my closet, and I'll still wear all of them regardless. So another faux pas question, because Ange, you've seen a lot in Montreal. Faux pas to wear your husband's jersey to a game. It is a faux pas. That's what every wife thinks. But what is your actual opinion on it?
I think other than playoffs, I don't want to see it. I think it's kind of tacky and fangirly and like Puck Bunny-ish. So I love it.
Spicy answer. I love it. This is the Ange I know.
But playoffs, anything goes.
So I'm going to agree. Do you guys remember last year when all the playoff wives jackets were coming out and the New York girls just dropped a bomb and they were in their husband's jerseys? And I thought it was just it was just such a power move. I was like, yes, I actually love this.
That's awesome. Oh, I love that.
I thought it was epic.
That with Montreal.
Yeah, we weren't thinking. We were scrounging.
We were in it. We
were scrounging.
We had no time to customize a jersey.
No. What a fun time. I mean, I've been sending both of you guys pictures from my camera roll from that like spring into summer. I mean, we spent 4th of July in Montreal, which is just weird to me, like the American. And I remember like dressing my kids up all in like their American stuff and getting with Ange and meeting at Murray Hill and being like, yay, it's 4th of July. We've got a game tonight, and I just look back at that and it was such a weird time because we were watching, in our, socially distanced bubbles and, we were told not to even high five like in person, but we could like go up back and high five back there and
away from the cameras.
our connection with Berge, like I saw the picture of us all with him with his lucky red suit on. Just such a special time we all had.
That was
together.
fun to go through videos and photos of that time because honestly, again, like I said, Angela, you were in Montreal for so long, but that had to have been one of your favorite seasons.
Yeah, I mean, least favorite but most favorite all at the same time because of COVID. But It's such a blur. All I remember is like socially distancing, the basement of what was that restaurant?
Where Kat's birthday
Da
was.
Vinci, the basement of Da Vinci,
Yeah.
and then like Berge's red suit. That's all I remember from that time.
Yeah,
I
it truly was
met-
a blur.
Well, we weren't allowed to meet in person until playoffs, pretty much, right? Which was crazy. And then that was when my birthday came about. So you were all my new friends, and I was celebrating my birthday with all of you in like this weird basement, and we were like, "Nice to meet ya!" Like, go Canadians, you know?
All
Like,
wearing the same shirt.
all wearing that shirt. Yeah. And what a time. I mean, it was a blur, but it was really fun, and we had all these superstitions going.
Let's talk
obviously.
about the superstitions.
Well, my stupid socks that
Yeah, we had a burning of the socks.
About your socks.
my socks that I wore every day in Montreal for like 2 months or something, and
She would walk 30,000 steps a day in them and then continue wearing them.
which is gross in hindsight, but honestly,
Don't
I
worry,
felt
they
like
got burned. They got burned the night of the
You
loss.
had to do what you had to do for the team. I appreciate that.
So that's
Kat.
what it felt like. You know, it felt like you had, like, each of us, whatever it was, we had this like responsibility. Like,
Well, Montreal to also from coming from the baseball background, Montreal was one of the most superstitious, like heightened places I've ever been. It was great. I loved it because it's
you run on
know,
superstition.
You run on superstitions, and everyone is doing their part, you know, which
Yeah, it was. And are you guys, I mean, I think I know the answer, but before that run, did you classify yourself as superstitious in any way
No.
for Carrie's games?
what about
Not at
Carrie?
all.
Because everyone says goalies are like the most superstitious, no?
He says he's not, but then like during that playoff run, you'd see him wear the same suit over and over and over again, and like certain underwear over and over again. So he still claims he's not, but he was low key superstitious for sure.
Oh my gosh. It
Wow.
was.
The end of that season ended with us all at Sarah Byron's house burning my socks after the loss. So it was
Yeah, we became unhinged.
Yeah,
after,
we really
after that. Like the come down of that was something I never want to experience again personally. But still so special.
Yeah, very special. And I obviously it was great to bond with you guys over that. It was a fast bond. So that was
It was. But we had like a tight group for how like we didn't get to hang out all season. It was just thrown together. Like we were tight. It was great.
It was a special group, and I think, and you tell the story the best about how the group like was so balanced with veteran girls that maybe were part of playoffs before, and then younger girls, newer girls, you know, to a new city. Expand a little bit on that, just like your thoughts on it and your experience, like witnessing it, because you've been on the team, you know, you're a seasoned girl, you've been there for 15 years, but it was unlike anything else.
It was the perfect mix. When I first moved to Montreal, we had a similar mix where there was a good amount of veterans and a few young girls. And I remember just being a sponge and taking it all in and learning so much from these vets, the girls who had like won cups. And when we got to that point in 2021 where we were going in the playoff run and it was a similar situation, I just kept remembering everything those women had taught me and told me and what I witnessed then. And I wanted to make sure that everyone else kind of saw the importance of that. And they say like to win a cup, the guys have to be super tight and it has to be a good locker room. But I've learned over the years that the wives lounge is super important as well. Like if the wives are tight, that's only going to make the guys like more tight knit. So I think I really found a lot of importance in that and really wanted the young girls to see that. And I think I tried to champion it as much as I could, especially during COVID. But
yeah,
it is
and we
super
had
fun.
like Shannon Allen, who they had won the cup in St. Louis, so like they knew the stamina. Like honestly, it sounds so weird coming from the wives' perspective. Like like I'm not kidding you. It's like we're not playing, no, but we are taking on every burden at home. Like I'm pretty like, oh, Jeff, like you take care of it. You know, he's like self-sufficient. So during playoffs, I didn't even want him to like, I didn't want anything to be out of place. I think that's everybody takes on this role of like, I've got the house, I've got the kids, I've got the pets, anything. Like I'm handling it, like nothing on their plate. And like it honestly takes a stamina to get through, you know, the 2-month stint. And we had girls to show
it's
for
not
that.
just like the guys' priority. I think for it to work, it has to be the woman. Your husband winning has to be your priority as well. And I think that makes a huge difference. And I think you see it in players when you don't have the wives that are supporting as much as they should. But it sucks and it's super time consuming and exhausting. I remember talking to you, Julie, like every playoff game, we were like having anxiety attacks and we weren't even playing. Like, but it's like God, family, your husband's hockey. Like that's your order of priorities.
Yeah.
I will say something that I will always remember during that was we had a dinner to watch the Stanley Cup finals, and a few of us were running late, or I wasn't coming because of my superstitions. Remember, I didn't want to watch, whatever. And you sent this text that was like, get here now.
Yeah.
Like you literally were like, this is the Stanley Cup. We're together on this. You know what I mean? It was like, I will always remember that text. I was like, okay, I'm coming.
Yeah,
Sorry.
get
Like,
there.
Yeah, there now. Like, and it was like,
Nothing pisses me off more, especially a moment like that when girls are like, "Oh, I'm not gonna come." I'm like, coming.
yeah,
Get here.
you yelled at me a little bit. It was nice, but
Sorry.
Dude, I love that. Like that's what's changed in the league, and even since you've been out, like it's changing, and it's like there's less like accountability and the camaraderie, and how much that means, because like everybody's kind of on their own page or doing their own thing. So
it brought us together. It really did.
It really did. There's a healthy fear of your elders sometimes.
Yes,
that you need.
you put
You
that
know,
nice
but,
fear in all of us, and it was great. So
Who was that girl or couple girls that took you under your wing when you were a rookie?
Oh my gosh. So I was so lucky that when I was the new girl, it was right at a rebuild. So all the girls walking in were new.
that's nice.
Yeah, it was a beautiful, beautiful shift for me at least. But Amy Moen was like an instant best friend, like called me up in my hotel room, was like, "Hey, I'm Travis's wife. Let's go grab lunch." Like, and she was like you, Julie, like into the game, analyzing everything, yelling at her husband. Like she was in it. And then Ann Gill, which was just like the veteran of veterans, and just her presence in the room, everyone listened to her, and she's a style icon. I remember I went to her when I was like buying my first designer handbag, which is so crazy to think back on. And then the other person that really stands out is Harvest Giunta. Her husband was our captain, and she was such a good example of how to balance hockey and family life. And I think I learned majority of what I've taken throughout my years in the league from those three women.
What did they teach you just about Montreal, and just like how big of a spotlight you're in there?
They were new to it too, so no one taught us anything
Oh,
about that.
okay.
That was just trial and
Sure.
error, which there was a lot of error,
They
but
seemed like they're just natural born leaders, and their
Yeah.
husbands were too. So
Speaking of
it
that,
was lovely.
we're all open books, we all are public on Instagram, whatever that means. But how was that just in learning with that fan base and everything? Like, you're
Anne just had a lot of fun with that.
It's been a roller coaster ride, and it was funny because I went in to Montreal kind of anonymous, which was beautiful, and I had a lot of fun. But then when Carrie became a bigger player and I wasn't so anonymous in the city, it got really hard. And I feel like I joke, but it's kind of true. Like being in Montreal kind of put out my fire a little bit, because I felt like I had to be filtered and put out a certain presence because I was Carrie's wife and all this, and I don't want the team to get pissed at me. And but then I feel like when I got pregnant or became a mom, I kind of got like my confidence back, and that's when I was like, well, screw this. No one's going to tell me what I can and cannot say,
Yeah,
and
be
I'm
yourself.
going to be me. And so it was a bit of a roller coaster, but I felt by the end of it, I had like found myself within that craziness and just didn't
And
care.
how did you balance the lifestyle of, being the wife of a future Hall of Famer, greatest of all time? Like he's the man. Like how did you do it?
That's so nice. I put my head in the sand. It still to me probably doesn't, register as it does, especially for Canadians. He's just the guy at home who I want him to take out the trash more and unload the dishwasher. And I mean, I try to appreciate his career as much as I can, but I think you guys see that, like, everyone else's perspective of them is so different from home life. And at home, he's just husband and dad.
Yeah, and I mean, just from being your right-hand girl here, I know you're super into wellness, and, you know, you prioritize your life in, you know, faith and then family,
Yeah.
and then Carrie, and you take care of yourself physically and mentally. And if there's anybody out there that does it the best or so well, it's you. Like, you know how to shut off when you need to, and you know when you need to focus on yourself or your family the most. And
I did. That was definitely something you had to learn. And I feel like once, like I was so worried that when hockey was over, how different it was going to be, and it was going to be heartbreaking. I was going to miss it so much. But the fact that it's easier to do that, like, I am like the happiest I've ever been. Like, when I go back to Montreal, you know, like, go to the games and do all the things, my cortisol levels are so high. I think, like, holy shit, this used to be my everyday normal baseline. How did I live like this?
So post life is chill, you're saying.
It is. You have a 50-50 partner, not the burden of everything's not on your shoulders for, like, home and all that. It is.
Yeah, so
it's
what's
sad
the best?
you miss the game, but
Yeah. What's the best and worst part about Carrie not playing?
the best is, like I said, having a partner, having someone to do drop off or pick up, and just like 50-50, like just not even a question. That is the most beautiful thing in the world. Worst part, I think, is seeing that hockey world through your kids' eyes. I miss that. And like, especially we had a little boy later, so he was not, I mean, he went to the games, but he was like 2. Like, he does not know daddy played hockey, and he's obsessed with hockey. I'm like, he would lose his shit if he was able to see Carrie on the ice. But at the same time, then if that was the case, dad wouldn't be doing skating practice with him 2 times a week. Like, he'd be missing out on his childhood. So it's a trade-off, but that's the one thing I think I miss the most.
Well, the nice thing is I feel like there's going to be so many cool events that you all can enjoy in Montreal forever. You know,
for sure. There's going to be enough footage for Lincoln to gather.
Dad's going to play in some Legends games. You know,
I'm loving watching Lincoln get on skates because I have the 4 boys, and Angie's like, "You're always at the rink. Oh my gosh!" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's not ending anytime soon. Like, my husband's going to stop playing, and then I'm going to have the cortisol levels for my children. So back at the rink. But I'm loving and getting into Hockey Mom era because it's a whole
It's fun.
new
It's
ball
freaking
game.
cute.
Yeah, it's cute now until it becomes cute.
Yeah.
What is the most annoying thing about Carrie being home so much?
I think we found our balance, but they're just in your business constantly when they're like, because they don't know what to do with themselves.
Because they've been. Oh, that's funny. Okay, the other day, sorry, Ange and I were FaceTiming, like talking about some samples or something, and I like catch Carrie in the back, and he's got a calendar. Like, he has his own calendar with a pen in his hand. I'm like, is that a calendar? Does Carrie have a calendar in front of us? And she goes, yes, he just bought his first calendar, and we're merging ours. So
what's on Carrie's calendar? Like, just like kid stuff and
just family stuff. He travels a bit and does like brand stuff quite a bit, and so it's just he's like.
But these guys, these guys have been given a schedule their entire life, and in between their scheduled moments, they have to be thinking how they're preparing for those scheduled moments. So they are programmed 100% of the time, and we are programmed to that program. Well, and it just was funny to see Carrie like joining.
He's learning,
learning
to schedule his own days.
Should I send him colored pens? Like, would he nerd out as much as us?
No. Anyway. Some of his is in pencil and pen. It's his agenda stresses me out, but he's learning.
I love it. I love to see it.
That's very cute because, as we know, if they're not an hour early, they're late and all this stuff in their hockey life. So, you know, they need that schedule, I guess. Wow. I didn't even think about that post-career. That's crazy. Ty's going to go wild. nuts. You know, it's so funny. Carey, I think something people don't know about him was like when he took the Canadians ice fishing. That whole, do you remember that whole?
Somebody wrote us on Instagram like, I miss Carey coming out and ice fishing with us with the boys, which I'm assuming the boys meant the team.
Yeah. Honestly, the Carey ice fishing story, one of my favorite stories ever is one of all of our favorite persons still on the Canadians, Jake Evans. Do you remember what happened with him?
I don't.
Oh my God.
What happened?
So he was obviously a rookie still, like quite new, and Carey's taking them ice fishing. So, you know, it's a big deal. And he's, you know, his nervous.
And you go because a price
Yeah.
told you to come.
His nervous, cute energy. He was all, you know, like whatever. And Jake, who just like, he's the funniest person ever, dropped his phone into the smallest hole possible.
Oh, I remember that now.
Oh, it's all coming back now.
And he was so embarrassed because it was like, you know, like he did it in front of, you know, like he was trying to be a cool ice fisher. And then he dropped his phone in front of everyone and came back to report it. So it was a cute story.
Tough.
But
That's a tough loss.
I know, but it was just funny that, you
Carey
know.
has all these like little like sly stories. I was right before Jeff left today. I was like, give me a Pricer story. And Jeff's like, oh, Larry? And I'm like, that takes us to nicknames because, you know, everybody knows Carey as Pricer. But I think like behind the scenes in the 21 team guys.
When Shay came in, I think that's who gave him the Larry nickname.
Larry?
Yes, he's Larry, not Carey.
I
Like
did
Jeff
not know
always
this.
calls him Larry. Anyways, Jeff's like, oh, just walking into the rink and Carey's got his cowboy boots on the skate stretcher. Like that was like a standard protocol. Had his cowboy boots, just stretching on the skate thing. Like just funny stuff like that. I don't think people realize how funny Care Bear is.
I know he like is shown as such like a quiet, which he is quiet, but like very serious, and he's definitely not in real life.
Has he been paying attention to the Obi run?
He's watching it, yeah. I think we all are.
Yeah,
We all
I know.
can't
Yeah,
stop watching that. Oh,
I know. My boys report every morning if a goal was scored by Ovechkin the day before. But we were given the fun fact that Carey is tied as the third most scored on goal by Ovechkin. And I mean,
What an honor.
What an honor. He's part of it. He's part of
It's history.
this
It's history.
achievement.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of funny. I feel like that's just it's part of it. They're on the East. They played each other a lot in his defense. So and maybe those defensemen in front of him should have stopped someone. Come on, Jeff.
I was gonna call him Petey. I'm like, that was weird.
Yeah.
Call Jeff Petey.
We just talked about this on our last podcast with Garzy.
Yeah.
About
Garzy.
nicknames and calling the teammates by their nicknames, and it's like so awkward because I'm like meeting Brendan Gallagher for the first time. I'm like, hi, Gally.
He's always Gally to me.
Yeah,
though,
he's
for
Gally.
always. There's certain guys that like I use their nickname, but like Jeff, I would never call him Petey.
You just
Yeah, I don't
To his
think.
face, not to
I don't
his
know.
face.
I mean, yeah.
Well,
it's-
in terms of other teammates, because you might know this, T, is there anyone that Carey hated playing against that then became a favorite teammate? Like, was there
Oh.
anyone that scored on
I
him
mean,
a bunch?
probably Weber, Shea. Probably, I think everyone hated playing against him, and he's such a goal. Like for a goalie, he has such a hard shot too.
Yeah.
So that's probably it.
That's a good one.
So then they became.
Who do you think was one of Carey's funniest teammates?
I mean,
Definitely was.
love him or hate him, PK. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
entertainment. That's entertainment 24/7.
We asked obviously some fan questions for you. Pretty much the majority, other than asking what you love most about Montreal, was just if you feel this connection to other goalie wives, like, you know, because you're all kind of in it.
You know, it's really weird because I like hate other goalies. Like you want to score on them so bad that you like kind of hate on them. But at the same time, if you see them get like pulled or something, like, oh, it like breaks my heart. So it's a weird balance of like wanting to like them, but they're the competition. But every goalie wife I've met has been very lovely, so I have nothing to say about them personally. But
I think some
Carrie
people
cheerleader wants to not like any other goalie.
Well, some fans wrote in that maybe you guys have like a goalie support chat going. Like,
We should. I should have started that in my day.
you should have, because honestly, like from every
I
team
don't know.
I've been on, like I've watched the goalie wives kind of go through it during every game. It's you guys.
Yeah.
Definitely
That
have
would be
pressure.
the worst. I remember as I feel like maybe closer, and maybe it was more in the playoff run, like sometimes I would sit next to Ange at a game. And like typically Ange, like in a regular season game, like she's not really watching, like
Chill, yeah.
we're just
Having a glass of
sitting down in
wine.
the room,
Yeah.
like whatever. Then as it was like getting more serious, or and I would like randomly sit next to her, her death grip on my thigh was like unbearable. I was like, I'm going back to my seats. Like this is
Which that's
Oh,
started
yeah.
since my first year. I remember wives being like, I'm not going to sit next to Ange.
yeah.
I zone in, I say my little mantra in my head and hold on for dear life.
We had a mantra. Yeah, we did have the mantra, and
Yeah.
I know it's funny. It's funny to hear that because when like different wives are so Kat, your prime example. You don't even go to half the games because every game you don't go to tie scores in, so we keep that going.
Yep.
But like it's funny to watch like people razz me like when I'm watching, and I'll be like, they kind of sit the families in the same section, and you guys will hear me like something happens like around Jeff, and I'm like, Jeffrey Nicholas. And everybody's like, oh, nice. Julie's here. I'm like, sorry. I thought that was
It is
under
so
my
funny
breath.
to see all the wives, how they respond to their
Yeah.
husbands.
One of the cutest reactions ever was when the guys made it into the Stanley Cup, and it's like you jumping up, and like it's almost like this pressure release.
Was
Yeah,
it
with like
Millie?
Millie, my hands
Was it-
too.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
like you basically like shot 10 feet in the air, and
They
like
probably did.
they like caught
I
it.
can
on
Like
still
that's the
feel-
moment that like stands out so like clear.
It was,
I mean, I hope, yeah. It's and the
makes me cry
tears,
watching it back. So
I know. If only like a TV like show was following us through that, that
Oh
would
my
have
gosh,
been
it was wild.
a
God,
wild
yeah.
time. Oh my gosh. Well, rumor has it that you were the OG Hockey Wife TV show girl, whatever that show was called, Hockey Wives. Rumor has
Hockey
it that
Wives.
there is a new one of those coming out following some girls around the league. What's your opinion? Do you have
I
any
like
advice?
how you say rumor has it, as we did an interview for it, Julie.
I was gonna say most of the league knows this.
We know pretty sure that there's another reality show coming out with Hockey Wives.
Yeah.
Me and Julie both spoke to the producer. Did you, Kat?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
so
think
you
we all,
know.
I think we
So
all
we
know.
all know it's coming.
Yeah.
You know what? Have a really good lawyer look at your contract is my... I got so lucky. Like, Carrie's team was so horrified that I was going to do it, that we had such a good lawyer that I was the only girl that got this in my contract, that we got to see the episodes before it was released, and we could edit as we saw fit. Like me.
Wow,
and,
you
Carrie's
got
lawyer.
producer right.
Smart.
That's incredible.
So that was like, I went in with no fear, which was beautiful. But I was also pregnant and boring, so I really didn't need all that safety net, but it was nice to have.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember not being really friends with you yet, and we went and made donuts or something. It was so stupid.
Oh, you
So
were on it
stupid.
too.
That
I
show
didn't
was
even
so
know
I
that.
was like an extra because it was just like,
Oh.
we're doing team bonding at donut play. It was so weird. Okay, cool.
It was stupid. Hopefully, I think what we've heard is that it's going to just follow one team, and I think that's a lot better idea to make it more authentic.
Yeah.
That's the thing with those shows. It wouldn't really make sense not all being on the same team, really.
I just
no.
like, I'm like, they give you shows to kind of like, oh, this will be what it's like, kind of like, and there are these girls like getting out of like an Escalade, all like slow-mo and glamorous. I'm like, could you imagine Julie Petrie and Circus showing up to a game and piling
like
out
the slow mo.
like could you
Cheerios
imagine?
in your hair.
Cheerios in my hair, falling out of the car, like the boys punching each other, like, and then like, let's go Red Wings. Like, I would actually love to see what that looks like, but
It would show me at home doing a puzzle, watching Real Housewives during the game.
with a gauntlet of wine.
So weird they didn't want to do the show with us.
Yeah, right? Like
Real life.
there was so much there.
Okay, I think we're going to kind of wrap this up and we're going to do what we're calling our quick shootout questions.
Oh,
So-
shootout, that's cute.
Yeah, we can
Took
give...
us a minute to figure out A,
cannot
the
take-
name of this podcast, but B, like the segment. So it's a
Yeah.
work in progress.
Okay, so I'll try to do it quickly. But here we go. Best show you've watched lately?
Ooh, Lioness with Zoe Deschanel. I love her.
Offside or offsides?
Offsides. I hate that you guys took away the S.
I love to hear that we have somebody in our course. What are you reading right now?
Oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing. The Crown of
ACOTAR?
Thorns.
ACOTAR.
Like the fairy.
Yeah. I knew you were gonna say I cannot get past the first chapter. Like I can't.
Oh my gosh, I'm in the second book, and these are like thick books, and I'm in it. I cannot believe it. I'm so embarrassed, but I love it.
Well, I don't read, but
Yeah.
Biggest misconception about most wives and girlfriends, or the term we hate, wags.
That we're all like bougie. We're all bougie. That's a good one. We're not.
I already did that question. If you could go on vacation anywhere tomorrow, where would you go?
Ooh, Liv is dying for me to take her to Japan. So Japan.
Boyd, I want to take Boyd there too. Perfect.
Double date to Japan.
Perfect.
Favorite arena to watch a game other than Montreal?
Ooh, Boston. They like
Oh.
harass the out of you, and I love it.
Oh gosh, it's so weird. Okay, top wellness hack or tip you're doing right now. Like,
Oh, face taping. Instead of like Botox, I like tape my face at night.
I can't wait to pick
See
your brain
that?
on that. Yeah, see the results.
All right, this one's like really, I don't even know how you're going to answer this one, but top memory of Carrie's career.
I mean, we already discussed it when we got that goal against Vegas in Game 6 and went to the finals. I'll never forget it.
Do I ask the debrief? I know the answer. Okay. Debrief after a game or a quiet ride home?
Silent ride home. You can hear a pin
I
drop.
knew it.
Has there ever been a funny Carrie doppelganger that's made you laugh?
Not that I've seen, but so many people will come up to me like, "You look like Carrie Price," and he's like, "Oh, I've heard that before." He gets that all the time.
Oh my God, that's actually really funny.
I love it. All right, Ange. Well, thanks for coming on here. We feel honored that you're our first hockey wife. I'll text you after this, but we'll see you in Vegas.
Ange is amazing. It's actually really funny how relaxed she is, and she just
She's
really
a
looks,
natural.
Yeah, she just really looks like life is chill up in Kelowna right now, and you know.
No more cortisol spikes, as she calls it, with the post hockey life, which is something we can all look forward to.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get a little nervous, like with people being bored after or whatever, but she looks like, you know.
Yeah, I love it. I love that you guys, I mean, I obviously talk to Ange every single day, a million times a day, but I love you guys picking up right where we left off. That is just I think I'll say it on every podcast, but it is the epitome of the hockey family. Like, you cannot see each other for 3 years, like us going to New York together last week, sharing a hotel room, you know, doing all, you know, the hockey sister things. So that was
Well,
fun.
I mean, it is funny. Like, if anything, with this podcast as well, it's like a fun reunion every episode.
I know. I'm looking forward to it. So
Yeah,
it'll
too.
be fun to see who we have on next. I know you put out a question thing from Instagram.
Yeah, so I put out a question last night, and the majority of questions were about trades. So we'll get to that because
we'll have a full episode on trades.
probably two. Probably
Hosted
two.
by Kat Foley.
Yeah, I'll give the TED talk on trades and just how somebody that never thought that. You know,
I have got some good trade stories from
Yeah,
Jeff to share from his Edmonton to Montreal. That's a good one.
Yeah, we've
So-
got a lot. So that'll come up. But yeah, I mean, other than that, just, just like the normal questions. But well, Ty responded LOL to my question. So stuff
Great.
like that. I got a lot of fun ones like that. In the
Did you
hockey.
guys know, this is like, I digress, but did you guys know on Instagram that the little thing on the bottom when you like send it to somebody, like when you want to send like the post to somebody, did you guys know that that is a airplane, like a paper airplane?
Yeah.
You did. See, I did not. I was today years old when I learned that. I thought it was just like an arrow. Like,
No, like it's like
Yeah.
set,
thank you. I'm just going to admit, these are things that I'm going to admit in this podcast, that I was yesterday years old when I learned
well, I
that.
love
And
it today years old. Like
I-
honestly,
was shook. I was like, oh yeah, that is a paper airplane. I just thought it was like an arrow pointing, like, go this way. Like, you want to go this way, go this way.
well, honestly, there's a lot of good ones. That's what Instagram's good for, because there's a lot of today years old on there. Like even like the pizza thing that everyone thinks is a little table in the middle, but it's actually like to separate the slices. Have you seen that one? Like that old school little, like it looks like a little.
I do think Jeff taught me that one time, but I forever thought it kept the box up. Like, if like the box was like maybe stacked, like that it was gonna like help keep it off of the cheese. I don't know.
Well, maybe this is an organic way of having a today years old every time we have this podcast.
So, yes, and I have a lot of them. Did you guys see they released the Stadium Series jerseys for Detroit versus Columbus yesterday? Kat, did you see those?
Yes, and I loved, like, not to be biased, I loved both of them, but what stood out to me was the Detroit helmets.
Oh, like, I want them to wear those helmets all the time. They're so good.
Yeah.
I love both of the jerseys. Usually it's like, oh, you can really pick a favorite. I mean, obviously, clearly Detroit's my favorite. I love, it's so classic. It's so clean. Did you see the cute little octopus eyes on the little tag?
I actually didn't, but
Oh, you got to
I
go back
probably
and
didn't
look.
look into it as
Al the
deeply
octopus,
as
like,
you did.
they have like a little purple tag. Just the details this year are fantastic. I thought they did a great job. I actually, and we touched on fashion faux pas about wearing jerseys. I actually ordered one in my size just in case I want to layer with it because I thought it was so cool.
That's nice. I did that last year for the jerseys.
Yeah.
Jerseys.
The jersey
jerseys. Weird to say, because they were very cool. But I also kind of want you to spill the tea on what they might be walking out on. Walking out in.
Yeah, the walkout outfits. I love how that's become a thing, really. But I cannot spill the tea, because I don't know if anything is confirmed. I did hear rumors, and I think it is, if they execute what they're talking about, it is, and it certainly, something's got to be better than what the Winter Classic walkouts were, because I just, quite frankly, don't even remember what they were. And I think everybody has one that sticks out. Like a couple of years ago, the game in Tahoe, like the or there was like, was there
Like
one where it was
retro
really
tracksuits.
cold
Yeah, they came
and they
out.
wore like next to nothing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year I was like all over the guys to go in some sort of like football type of, like kind of football times Devils gear, because I loved that with the Boston one, where they came out as baseball players, OG, like old timey baseball.
So Jeff was in that game, the Pittsburgh versus
Yep.
Boston, and they both teams wore baseball because they were playing at Fenway, and they both wore baseball uniforms, but Boston executed it way better than Pittsburgh. I'm sorry, I have to say.
It
but
gave all the old timey feels.
Oh, they had the old like pinstripe rolled up baggy pants. Like, it was so good.
Yeah, it was good. So yeah, I kind of, that's based off that. I was like, you guys should go as like old OG football players, and like people were like entertaining it on the team. Like Ty was like cutely bringing it into the locker room, but I'm so glad that they chose to stick with the Sopranos theme, because that was like the best.
So good. And one year the one team, I think Boston again, did like Peaky Blinders. Was that one?
Oh yeah.
And that was, those are always so good. So anyways, stay tuned for the Stadium Series walkout. And I mean, we all know that their jerseys, they're going to look great on the ice. So let's see what they look like before.
Yeah. So in terms of topics like that, in terms of topics like the Stadium Series walkout, what our opinions are on what our guys wear, stuff like that, hit us up. Like, if you guys have any questions for the guys, like if you have any questions just for our involvement in these weird, funny insider things, let us know. Like, it's we are here excited to talk about it because it's funny, and I don't know, it's our daily
just
life.
Shoot us a DM. All right. Well, you guys know what to do. Rate, review, follow, subscribe, whatever you have to do on the platform that you listen to your podcast. Support us. Show us, how much you love us, just like you do your favorite hockey team, and share with your friends, your family, and like Kat says, your dog. Thanks for listening to Never Offside with Julie and Kat.